Hey, love. I want to share something real today, something that's been on my heart and in my spirit. We all have these journeys, don't we? These paths we walk, sometimes stumbling, sometimes soaring, but always learning. And today I want to talk about some of the stumbles, the little things that, for a long time, I didn't even realize were holding me down, keeping me from the fullness of who I am meant to be. It's about peeling back the layers, looking at ourselves with honest, compassionate eyes. These aren't huge, dramatic things, not the kind of earth-shattering revelations that make for big headlines. No, these are the quieter struggles, the everyday patterns. Just quiet little habits I carried for years. Habits that slowly, almost imperceptibly, chipped away at my peace, my energy, and my confidence. They were like tiny pebbles in my shoe, not enough to stop me in my tracks, but enough to make the journey far more uncomfortable than it needed to be. And isn't it often those small, persistent things that can have the biggest impact over time? Maybe you'll see yourself in a few of them as I share my heart with you today. Maybe you're already on your own path of recognizing and releasing these kinds of patterns, already doing the work to let them go. Or maybe this conversation will be a gentle nudge, a little spark of awareness. Wherever you are on your journey, please know this. You are not alone in this. We are all works in progress. Either way, I'm glad you're here truly. Let's walk through this together. For so many years, I wore the word yes like a badge of honor. If someone needed a favor, yes, of course. If there was an event, yes, I'll be there. If an opportunity arose, even if it stretched me thin, yes, I can do that. I thought it was a sign of strength, of capability. But oh, honey, what I didn't see then was the immense weight that came with every single one of those yeses. Each one was a thread, and together they wove a heavy cloak that I dragged around with me, day in and day out. I remember feeling this deep, gnawing exhaustion, a weariness that settled into my bones. It wasn't just physical tiredness, it was a soul tiredness. I'd look at my calendar, packed from morning till night, and a sigh would escape me before I even realized it. I was running on fumes, constantly pouring from an emptying cup. The more I said yes to others, the more I felt like I was disappearing. My own needs, my own desires, my own quiet moments of peace. They were all relegated to the bottom of the list, if they made the list at all. The truth, the hard, undeniable truth that finally dawned on me was this. Saying yes to everything and everyone meant I was saying no to myself, over and over and over again. Every time I agreed to something that drained me, every time I pushed past my own limits to accommodate someone else, I was sending a message to my inner self that my well-being didn't matter as much, that my rest wasn't as important as their request, that my energy was an infinite resource, which, let me tell you, it most certainly is not. It took a long time, and a lot of quiet reflection to understand that true dependability doesn't come from a place of depletion. Oh, the siren song of getting more done. I can still hear it sometimes, that whisper that tells you if you just push a little harder, skip that one thing, you'll finally conquer the mountain of tasks before you. For years, one of the primary casualties of this relentless pursuit of productivity was my own nourishment. There were so many days, more than I care to admit, when I'd skip breakfast, telling myself I'd grab something later, or I'd find myself finally eating lunch at 3 p.m., hunched over my keyboard, barely tasting the food. It all felt so necessary in the moment, a small sacrifice for a greater gain. I convinced myself that those stolen hours, those moments reclaimed from the interruption of a meal, were making me more efficient, more successful. I was checking off boxes, yes, but at what cost? My body, bless its wisdom, kept score. It always does, doesn't it? It sent me signals, loud and clear, though I often chose to ignore them, or worse, to power through them with another cup of coffee, another promise of I'll rest later. The fatigue was a constant companion, a dull ache that sat behind my eyes and in my limbs. My mood would swing like a pendulum from irritable and snappy to inexplicably low and despondent. And the brain fog. Oh, that frustrating haze that made it hard to concentrate, to think clearly, to be creative. I was trying to run a high-performance engine on empty, and then wondering why it was sputtering and stalling. It seems so obvious in hindsight, doesn't it? The turning point came not as a sudden epiphany, but as a slow, dawning awareness. Ah, the digital world. A place of connection, of information, of inspiration. And also, if we're not careful, a place of profound and silent self-sabotage. I remember countless hours spent scrolling through social media, my thumb moving almost on autopilot, flicking past curated images of seemingly perfect lives. And with each scroll, a little piece of my own contentment would chip away. I'd see someone's highlight reel, the perfect vacation, the new promotion, the flawless family photo, and a familiar ache would settle in my chest, the ache of comparison. It was a subtle poison, really. I wouldn't consciously think, their life is better than mine, but the feeling was there, lurking beneath the surface. I felt like I was always behind. Not pretty enough when I saw those perfectly filtered selfies. Not fit enough when I saw the gym progress photos. Not productive enough when I saw the endless stream of accomplishments. Not traveling enough, not creative enough, not enough. It was a relentless barrage of perceived inadequacies, and it left me feeling depleted and discouraged. The insidious thing about this online comparison game is that we're often comparing our behind-the-scenes reality with someone else's carefully crafted highlight reel. We see the polished end product, not the messy process, not the struggles, not the doubts that everyone, and I mean everyone, experiences. We're comparing our Chapter 3 to someone else's Chapter 20, or even their fictional, idealized chapter. I used to be a planner, and I don't just mean I like to make lists. I mean I planned everything down to the hour, sometimes even the minute. My days were meticulously scheduled, my weeks mapped out, my goals broken down into tiny, manageable, and rigidly defined steps. I truly believed that this level of organization, this tight grip on the reins of my life, equated to control. And in control, I thought, lay safety, predictability, and success. If I could just anticipate every variable, plan for every contingency, then surely nothing could go wrong. Oh, how life loves to teach us about the illusion of control. What I found was that all this meticulous planning, this constant striving to dictate the flow of my existence, didn't actually give me a sense of peace. Instead, it often gave me a profound sense of anxiety. Because life, in its beautiful, messy, unpredictable glory, rarely follows the script we write for it. A meeting would run late, traffic would be unexpectedly bad, a sudden inspiration would strike that wasn't on the schedule, and my carefully constructed edifice of order would start to crumble. When things didn't go according to plan, and they often didn't, I would feel frustrated, stressed, and sometimes even like a failure. Why couldn't I just stick to the schedule? Why were things always derailing my perfect plans? It was exhausting, this constant battle against the natural ebb and flow of life. I was trying to force a river into a perfectly straight channel rather than allowing it to meander and find its own course. The shift began when I started to realize that this need for control was rooted in fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of uncertainty, fear of not being prepared. But what if, I started to wonder, what if the unknown wasn't something to be feared, but something to be embraced? What if uncertainty held the seeds of possibility, of serendipity, of unexpected joy? It was a radical thought for my over-planning mind. These days, I'm learning to make space for flow. It doesn't mean I've abandoned planning altogether. Structure can still be helpful. For the longest time, my mornings began not with a gentle awakening, but with the jarring glow of my phone screen. Before my feet even hit the floor, before I had a moment to connect with myself, to feel the quiet stillness of a new day, I was already plugged into the world. Notifications would flood in, emails, social media updates, news alerts. It was an instant immersion into the demands, opinions, and energies of everyone else. I didn't realize it then, but I was essentially giving away the most precious, formative moments of my day. Before I even had a chance to meet myself that day, to check in with my own thoughts and feelings, I was meeting everyone else's opinions, their anxieties, their agendas. I was starting my day in a reactive mode, responding to external stimuli rather than proactively setting my own tone, my own intentions. It was like inviting a crowd of people into my bedroom the moment I opened my eyes. This habit, seemingly small, had a profound impact on my overall well-being. I often felt scattered, overwhelmed, and a little bit anxious before my day had even truly begun. My mind would be racing with things I needed to do, things I should be responding to, all before I'd even had a sip of water or taken a conscious breath. It was a recipe for feeling constantly behind, constantly on edge, and it certainly wasn't conducive to a peaceful or productive day. The change came when I recognized the sacredness of those first few moments. I realized that how I begin my day has an undeniable ripple effect, setting the tone for everything else that follows. If I start my day rushed and reactive, that energy tends to carry through. But if I can start my day with intention, with a moment of quiet connection to myself, then I'm building a foundation of calm and clarity. Now, I protect my mornings. So, as we've walked through these habits together, these quiet ways I used to hold myself back, I hope you felt a sense of connection, a sense of understanding. Letting go of old habits, the ones that no longer serve us, doesn't mean striving for some unattainable state of perfection. Oh no, honey. It's not about never making a mistake or never falling back into an old pattern. It's about awareness, and it's about compassion for yourself on the journey. It means choosing better, one moment at a time, one decision at a time. It's about progress, not perfection. It's about gently guiding yourself back to a place of self-respect and self-care each and every time you notice you've strayed, and celebrating the small victories along the way, because each one is a testament to your strength and your commitment to your own well-being. This is your life, and you get to decide how you want to live it, how you want to feel within it. Remember this, deep in your heart, you don't have to hustle to be worthy of rest or joy. You don't have to shrink yourself to be loved or accepted. You don't have to carry what no longer fits, what no longer serves your highest good. You are inherently valuable just as you are. You're already enough, right here, right now, in this very moment. And I'm cheering you on with all my heart, always.